In efforts to reduce some of the anxiety associated with the deployment cycle, in 2008, the Department of Defense introduced the Yellow Ribbon Program, a Department of Defense program that helps National Guard and Army Reserve soldiers and their families connect with resources before, during, and after deployments. Since that time, the 63rd Regional Support Command, an Army Reserve command located in Mountain View, California, has transformed the Yellow Ribbon Program into what we call the Yellow Ribbon Experience.
All right, come on, let me hear you make some noise. It's Yellow Ribbon time. All right, welcome to your Yellow Ribbon Experience. We're so glad to have you here.
The Yellow Ribbon Program is a program that was designed mainly for reserve forces. It began with the National Guard. They came up with this program in order to better facilitate their soldiers and family members, in order to give them resources, tools, and instruction regarding deployment. Now, the reason why this is so prominent and so important for the reserve forces is the reserves do not have the opportunity to be in close proximity with their resources like their active duty counterparts. In other words, an active duty soldier generally, not necessarily always, but probably more than 90-95% of the time, they live in close proximity with their resources, right there on base or near base or on post or near a post where they can get everything they need for their families and themselves when it comes to deployment. Basically, there is a geographic dispersion that affects our reserve forces. So what Yellow Ribbon does is brings all the resources, all the instruction, all the counselors, all the knowledge, all the community partners together under one roof with the service member, and most importantly with their families, and give them that at one time in one event, and what we call the Yellow Ribbon Experience.
You're coming out to meet us at Yellow Ribbon on Friday night, Friday evening?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to set up your meeting with your folks after you get there, so you can take care of your part. You know, I was thinking about getting the girls to, since they're flying in, getting them to do a little something in the reception. You know, since it's Christmas theme and everything, I think I'll have them dress up as little elves and sing a song. What do you think?
What kind of song are you gonna have to sing?
A Christmas song.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you Santa's Helpers.
My family, as any other family, is my greatest resource and my greatest benefit. When there are people in your life who not only support who or what you represent, but they support you. And that means whatever you're doing, that support accompanies that. Bottom line, having someone around you who cares about you, who loves you, empowers you to do what you do. And there's no more important factor in your life than having people who love you, regardless of what it looks like.
Oh, I've got to go, babe. Gotta get on the road, gotta catch a plane, gotta do what we do. See you in just a few days.
My wife is my anchor. She keeps me grounded by providing me with the emotional and professional support that I need to ensure that each Yellow Ribbon experience is empowering and exceptional.
real well, thank you.
From check-in to the very end, our mission is to ensure that no one leaves the 63rd Regional Support Command's Yellow Ribbon event without the tools that they need to help them have a successful transition back into everyday life.
What makes the 63rd program different from others? When I say different, I do when I'm explaining how our program works, because we're not the only command, we're not the only group that does yellow ribbons. The Air Force does yellow ribbons, the Navy does it, but everyone does it in a little different flair. Even within the Army Reserve, we have 4 regional support commands that manage and host the post-deployment events. And even with that, there's some difference. The big difference with the 63rd's program is that we see the program as not just another event. It is an experience, and it's something that I relay to every staff member who works with us, every community partner, every instructor when they come on site. Every month that we host an event, I tell them that this is an experience, and they are a part of that experience. What it means is a service member should be able to come here and leave knowing they've had an experience, almost a tangible experience that, you know what, I was one way when I came into this experience, but now I'm a different person, or I've been affected differently, or I've picked up something that have improved my life or changed my life for the better. We want that when a service member comes and receives from us, that in that crucial moment, when they have to make a crisis decision, that they won't make a bad decision because of something they've heard or experienced or learned at Yellow Ribbon. It's not perfect, but it really is a good place to get what they need as service members and family members. My role as the 63rd RC Chief of Wellbeing, I manage or I oversee several programs and branches in the Directorate of Human Resources. But with the Yellow Ribbon program, I'm overall responsible for it. We do have a lot of people who support it, either on full-time staff or from various places throughout the country as we host the events. But my role basically is to make sure that we manage this program in accordance with the guidance that we've been given from our higher headquarters and above, to make sure that we maintain the authenticity of it, the intent of it, and manage its budget as closely as possible.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So glad you all are here. First of all, before I do anything else, I want you to give yourselves the biggest round of applause for being here to help someone else this weekend. That hand clap sucks. You guys really don't know how to applaud yourselves. You've heard me talk about this over and over again. If you're going to applaud yourself, give it all you got. You know, if someone tells me to reach into a bin that's filled with money and take what you think you deserve, I'm getting all of it. I'm going to take it all. I'm going to pull it all out. I'll lick the plate clean. I'm going to make sure I get it because I think I'm worthy. Do you think you're worthy? Yeah. If you think you're worthy, then give yourself a round of applause that you're worthy of. I could not pull this off without my staff. I work with a talented group of humble professionals who dedicate their time, energy, efforts, and talent to ensure that each and every soldier, family member, and corporate partner are provided with the tools that they need to have a rewarding Yellow Ribbon experience. Now, I want to talk to you about something that I want you to consider as you work this weekend. Because bottom line, we're here this weekend to serve. We're here to do something good for someone else. We're here to take care of the best. But in order to take care of the best, and I say it's the best because we're dealing with America's best. Anyone who puts themselves at the front line or willing to put themselves at the front line, as many of you have, many of you will, many of you have already done. Anyone who's willing to put themselves on the front line on behalf of their country, on behalf of them that they love, they, to me, in my mindset, are the best. Do they always act like they're the best? No, they don't. Because people will be people. But regardless, this weekend, we're taking care of America's best.
Please stand for the invocation by our chaplain and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by Ms. Charity Bowen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleam.
Some of our instructors and community partners have been with us since day one. Community partners provide soldiers and family members with the resources that are essential to fulfill a need. They provide resources, tools, knowledge, and information to help our attendees get exactly what they need, even if they don't know exactly what they need.
We have a variety of levels of staff. We have staff members who work with us every single day, full-time. We have those who come to support us simply for the events. We have instructors who come in to support. We have service members. We have volunteers that come in to support the events as well when we host them. And they come from a variety of places. The staff is really very well trained. We train them, whether they're new or whether they've done this event with us 30 times. They go through our briefings, they go through the trainings every single event. And I think that's important so that we can remind them why they're here. But they are a phenomenal group because they're always willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done.
And of the free and the home of the brave.
We're not just cranking out classes here. We're hand-holding, we're cheerleading, we're undergirding, we're empowering. We're getting down to the core of what's impeding our soldiers and families from making progress in their relationships, in their workplace, and ultimately in their community. Our instructors are committed to this cause, and you can feel the compassion in the classroom when they're speaking, when they're integrating, and most importantly, when they're engaging with our attendees.
But that's why we gotta make sure we have faith. Faith, and whether you decide to use it religiously or inspirationally, F-A-I-T-H, feeling as if there's hope. Recognizing that the only thing you cannot do is give up. And that's something you haven't done. You haven't given up. No.
We can't just change our behavior. It would be great if you could say, I'm just not going to act stressed about change. I'm just not going to show it. And that will mean I'm not stressed or that it's not bothering me. Or I'm just going to not yell, and then everything will be better. If I could just act differently, everything will change.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Tim Sells. I'm a military services coordinator, and I work for the Department of Veterans Affairs, and I work out of the San Diego Regional Office. What I'm here to talk to you about is VA benefits. How many of you are already getting VA benefits? Good, glad to hear that.
The 63rd Yellow Ribbon Experience is a life-enhancing event. Not only has the event changed the lives of our soldiers and their family members, but we have been fortunate enough to witness changes within the lives of our staff members as well.
The Chief of Wellbeing, Ms. Vu, is very well-rounded. Although she's young as a leader, not young in leadership, but she's just younger than me. And I've known her for a long time. So I look at her sometimes as family and as that third daughter, you know, for me in some senses.
My role within the Yellow Ribbon program is I am the program manager. I manage the program, I manage the budget, I manage the staff, anything that has to do with Yellow Ribbon. Personally, I have to say that when my husband was deployed, he's active duty, so we don't have this. And when he came back from the first deployment, I was mobilized. And I'm not sure if he had like classes and all of the counseling and resources that are offered to reserve soldiers. I'm not sure if he has that or not, but I did not have the opportunity to go with him to those classes and get the resources that I needed or that he needed. For a certain time, there was some issues that I did not know there were issues. For example, when I was a group leader, when I started here volunteering, supporting as a group leader, and I was in the classes, there were certain things, symptoms or certain triggers that in those classes that I learned. And I have to say that was what he was doing, like crying in the middle of the night in his sleep or screaming, being afraid. I did not know. I thought he was just dreaming. But actually those are, I guess you can say PTSD symptoms that he has. It has, throughout the years, it has not occurred as often as it has, but that helped me to understand, this is what he's going through. This is what is happening. And he doesn't like speaking about it, but in the middle of the night when he just screams or cries, that's what he's going through. So it has helped me understand him more than what I did before. The program's greatest achievement, I can't speak for others because there's so many stories, but for myself, I can say that I understand the separation. I'm a soldier myself, and when I went away for 3 months of training at Fort Jackson, my son, my youngest, was, this was in 2012, so he was a little over a year. He used to love me. I would be away from him for a week, 2 weeks, and when I come, his eyes would light up, and all he cared about was me. He would be in my arms, and nothing else mattered. It doesn't matter. But when he came to visit me, and he stayed with me for a few weeks, it was Veterans Day weekend. When he got off the aircraft and I came to pick him up, he didn't recognize me either. He was mad. He didn't know me anymore. It was just the saddest thing. That's when I realized that that's how the soldiers and families go through. That's what they go through with long deployments. I guess he was mad at me. He would cry, and his daddy was picking up the luggage, and I was standing right there. He would just look all around to see where his daddy, and he would not stop crying. It just hurt so bad, and that's when I understand what the soldiers and family members are going through, and that's just, for me, that's what I realized, how I needed. It's going to take time, and slowly we, got together, interacted again, and he started, I guess, to forgive me, because it was okay after a while for him to let me hug him, to kiss him. But that is my story, and I'm sure a lot of other family members and soldiers go through the same thing.
What I really like is a lot of our staff members are inspired by coming to Yellow Ribbon. We have staff members, for example, who have been at Yellow Ribbon as attendees. They deployed, they came back, they went to Yellow Ribbon. They loved what they saw. They didn't just like it, they loved it, and they began to do it themselves. Another soldier who's been benefited by Yellow Ribbon and all of its resources is Caleb Mitchell. He came in as a soldier. He was an attendee, and I remember meeting him. I remember meeting Caleb. We gave him the opportunity. Back then, we would allow soldiers to have words in our closing session, and he was one of the ones selected by his class to give words. And he gave words. And I realized that he had talent, he could sing. We began to use him on an occasional basis. And now Caleb is a permanent fixture, not just in our program, but in other programs as well.
The Yellow Ribbon program has been, to say the least, an amazing impact. It's been an amazing resource, amazing outlet for me and my family. I've deployed twice. I deployed in 2004 as a single parent with a son. And then I deployed in 2004, we didn't have Yellow Ribbon. I deployed again in 2010 as I was freshly married. My wife is a very strong, independent woman. So, she held it together for most of the deployment. And about 8 months into the deployment, she just fell apart and just shattered like glass. I'm 7,000 miles away, and there's nothing I can really do. But I came to my first event was here with the 63rd. After going through that event and with my wife, not realizing that what we were learning, we were going to have to use a few years down the road. We was having problems communicating, just seeing eye to eye. As a soldier, it's hard to turn off that battle mind and go back to being a husband and a father and a leader in your community. But the resources in the classes on communication and resiliency and being able to reintegrate into society helped. And, after, just emotions running high and really being detached from my family, I had to reach back to some of those classes and some of those sessions that I had set into the Yellow Ribbon and use that. And not only that, my wife had to reach and grab some of those communications so she could really understand what I was going through. So Yellow Ribbon helped her understand what it means for a soldier to come back home and that he's different. He's not the same man, he's not the same husband, he's not the same father that he was before he left. But Yellow Ribbon helped her be able to understand and relate. So instead of us getting a divorce and just falling apart, we were able to come to a common ground and realize that we needed help. So we talked to our pastors and we talked to our friends, and we used the information and the outlets the Yellow Ribbon provided to help save our marriage. And if it was not for Yellow Ribbon, I don't think that I would be as happily married as I am today.
So I'm very proud of our staff. I'm very proud that we have those who are capable of functioning on a level that doesn't just represent the 63rd RSC, and it doesn't just represent the Army Reserve. When we're out here doing what we do, we represent Department of Defense, and it's sometimes the only affiliation that someone will have with the military, and that's Yellow Ribbon.
Not only have we witnessed changes within the lives of our staff members, but we've also been successful in recruiting what I consider to be lifetime community partner members who have a sincere appreciation for what we do and why we do it.
What I've seen today, I've never seen before through the Yellow Ribbon program. And I grew up in the military. Grew up in the Navy with relatives also in the Navy, Marines, in Air Force, and even now currently on active duty with the Army. We never saw the resources, the coordination, the support that this program is offering. And I thought of my mother all day today and wondering, what would it be like for her to have had these things at her disposal when she was a Navy wife, mother, grandmother, cousin, and mother-in-law of all active duty military. They really did not, in some cases, have a place to turn to get the support for the families that they needed, not just us, but for those who were sharing their command challenges. So for me, this has been a revelation. I have thought of her a great deal today, what it could do for the children who in the past have so often been overlooked or bypassed, and think about the fact that, that generation that fought World War II, which my father was in, was ultimately, and he always reminded us, this career military, it was won by civilians. It was won by the people who came out of the schools and off the farms. They came forward and won that war for us, but when it was over, they went home and they didn't continue to have the camaraderie and the bonding that he was able to share in the Navy with his fellow veterans. So this, for me, also makes me think of my father and how gratified he would be to see those people who were so valiant in times of trouble for this country get the support they've so long deserved.
While it's no easy task, the time, energy, and effort that goes into creating a memorable Yellow Ribbon experience is more than worth it. The goal is to get as close to perfect as possible. We know no one's perfect, but from the front desks to the food, our job is to ensure that everything is as close to perfection as possible. We cannot do this alone. We rely on the hotel staff, community partners, and even the soldiers to help us to help them and their families. We encourage participation as much as possible. We want their feedback because we want to know what they need. We want to reach them where they are, right where they live.
But myself as a prior service person, to actually be here and to benefit from the programs that are taking place, the resources that are here, it has shown a spotlight on areas in which I have failed in, areas that I'm struggling in, and the Yellow Ribbon team is a catalyst to try to get your life in order. I think that after serving our country for over 27 years and seeing this program, there's so many past veterans that come here as family members to the current service members that say they wish that they had this program in place. And I think hands down, this may not be the total answer, but hands down, this is helping the service members and their family members make a difference post-military, post their deployments. So I encourage anyone, get your Yellow Ribbon experience.
I really didn't know what the Yellow Ribbon program consisted of until I found out a month ago that we had to come here. And when I found out it was for, they prepare your families for your pre-deployment, I was like, wow, okay, what is this? I want to know more. Communication is big to me. And I have an infant, and I want to make sure, my biggest thing for me was not being able to communicate with my daughter while I'm away, where she forget who I am. And so, you know, just having that communication, whether it's Skype or phone or emails or letters, you know, so that was really big to me. This is what the Yellow Ribbon is telling, the message that they're displaying, that we care about you and your families. That's the priority. So that's what I think they should definitely keep this up, because I enjoyed it. We stayed in a nice hotel, had nice people around, nice accommodations. The staff was awesome. Free childcare. They kept your kids. I mean, they didn't have to do that. I mean, this was really, I loved it. I had an awesome time.
Yellow Ribbon program has helped me personally by giving me answers and resources to questions that I may have and not know how to get the information. Coming here, it has given me all the opportunities to ask those questions, or at least to have the resources to know where to go to ask those questions.
I think the Yellow program is a great opportunity to know people. They have same situation like your family, and to understand how is the process when they leave or when they come back.
Yeah. And also I expected maybe something different, but I think what I got out of it was a lot more than I expected. So the program itself, it's good. Not only does it teach you, but it also puts you together with people, the people that you deploy with. So you get to see them and you get to understand and see the other side when they're not wearing the uniform. So that to me was good.
This program, I initially, and a lot of other soldiers feel like it's just another military program to go to that kill you by PowerPoint. Do I really want to go? And myself, I was pleasantly surprised. I will definitely let my soldiers and counterparts that I know tell them to definitely go to the Yellow Ribbon event. It is worth it. The community partners that come out and engage the soldiers and try to help them and their family members transition back into life together, and then to get out of the deployment mindset, that was a great asset. And then the Yellow Ribbon, the 63rd Yellow Ribbon team, their whole team was great. The general session was great as well. So it was a great opportunity, and I'm actually very excited that I attended.
The 63rd RSC's Yellow Ribbon program is all about support. From the commanding general, Major General Nicholas Tuliados, to our greeters, we're all here to support the soldiers who are preparing to deploy or returning home from a deployment, along with their family members who have served right alongside them. Dedication, motivation, inspiration, and education are the key ingredients to our perfect blend of Yellow Ribbon support. This is what keeps me excited. I can't imagine myself doing anything else.
I believe that if you are not doing your passion in your day-to-day job, then you should find a different job or just do your passion as your job. In this job, I get to fulfill my passion, and that is to motivate people, to inspire people, to give them what they're looking for even when they don't know they're looking for it. So I'm fulfilled in fulfilling my passion while I'm doing this job for as long as I'm doing it.
This weekend has been a great weekend with you. It's been my pleasure to be your host. Whether you think all of my stupid jokes are funny or not is not important. What's important is that hopefully you came here and you gained something out of the experience. So thanks so much for your time. Thanks for being attentive and being available and being really a bunch of great attendees.
I'm glad to say that Yellow Ribbon is here to stay.
Enjoy the rest of your day and your trip home. Thanks a lot. We love you.
I dedicate this song to you.
I see hero, I see friend, I see faith, family, and bonds that stand against anything. I see the strong, I see the weak, I see those that have a voice, and I see those afraid to speak. But today we want to say you are not alone. Know that you are not alone. This burden seems so hard to bear. Seems like everything is crazy and like no one cares. Your